Sure. All right. We rest filter, right?
Yes.
All right, so this thing,
Yep.
twice a year,
Okay.
generally. So in a few months, you're gonna have to check it anyway. Once I fire this thing up and get it all back running, I'll set this arrow to your normal operating PSI.
Okay.
So then this arrow indicates when you need to clean this thing.
Okay.
Which just means there's enough debris on these filters that it's time to clean them up.
Okay.
So you have a cartridge filter. It's very easy. This is the new stuff.
Okay.
So same deal, when you get ready to clean this thing, drop the pressure on the system
Okay.
and leave it open. Once it stops hissing, take a 9/16,
Okay.
you get a drill.
Okay.
So it's machine threads,
All right.
and if you use a ratchet, you're here for a good 5 or 6 minutes doing this. But if you
Okay.
take a drill, you can just back it off pretty quick.
Yeah.
So something to look out for, make sure you film this because this is important. Your contact point here
Yeah.
needs to always remain your contact point.
Okay.
So when you go to putting this thing back together, what you don't want to do is try to cinch this up.
Okay.
You want to take it back to where it was essentially at 0.
Okay.
So the front's going to touch, that's it. You don't need the back. What you
Okay.
don't want to do is put any
Too much
extra
pressure
pressure on the housing.
Okay.
But once you get this off, you don't have to take it all the way off. Once it gets out a little bit, it's got a little play in it, and
Okay.
it loops out like this, and that belt's going to open like this.
Okay.
That belt is also a C channel,
Okay.
so putting this housing back together is really easy. It's kind of dummy proof.
Okay. Perfect.
So once you get this off, take the belt off, set it off to the side. You can just lift this.
Okay.
It just lifts up.
Okay.
From here up, it's one big housing. Then you're looking at a black manifold.
Okay.
So it's got 4 little cones on it,
Okay.
and they sit on top of the filters. It
Okay.
only goes on one way. You can't mess that up either.
Okay.
Grab it, lift it up, set it over here on top of this housing.
Okay.
Now you're looking at the 4 cartridges.
Okay.
To clean these cartridges, lift it up, set it right there, hose it down all the way around,
Okay.
put it back.
Okay.
Repeat 3 more times.
Okay.
The first time you clean this, you're gonna have a bunch of pebbles and stuff down in here.
Mhm.
You could take this off and drain all the water out of the system and then just kind of push it through.
Okay.
Or if you have a small shop vac, much easier.
Yeah.
There's a grid on the bottom, you can lift it up before you put the cartridges back in, shop back the bottom and get that crap out and put
Okay.
it all back together.
Okay.
Reverse removal procedure.
Okay.
So that everything only sits one way except that bottom tray.
Okay.
But if you understood how the top came off, immediately you'll understand how that thing needs to sit back down in there. It
Okay.
holds the cartridges a certain way, it has to sit that way.
Okay.
So put your cartridges back in, put your manifold back on top. The only thing, same deal, you got an O-ring here. You got a big old fat O-ring. It's like this big around and it goes the circumference of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that the channel that it's sitting in the housing is free of debris.
Okay.
Same deal as this.
Okay.
Take the same lube, rub it around.
Okay.
It's rubber. You just want to make sure it's not dry rotting or getting any kind of rot.
Okay.
They're not expensive, but it is a pain in the ass.
Okay.
Like to tear a whole filter down because it's got a little squeaky
Yeah.
leak. It's
Yeah.
kind of, it just sucks. Just
Okay.
make sure, take your time with something. A lot of this stuff.
Okay.
Love on it, it'll love on you, and you don't have to replace it.
All right. And how often that have you done?
So normally about twice a year. So
Okay.
the beginning of swim season and then at the end of swim season.
Okay.
Throughout the winter, most of your stuff's going to be here. You're not
Okay.
going to have a lot of oils from skins, sunblocks. You're going to have more trees from fall
Okay.
and Mother Nature dumping in the pool more than humans getting in and causing problems.
Okay.
But the gauge on top will indicate pretty well.
Yeah, it'll let you know that this literally only gauges the pressure within the cartridges. So as that
Okay.
pressure builds and there's too much crap in the cartridge for it to process right, the pressure builds here.
It'll go to
When it gets to that 10 psi over your normal operating range, it's time to shut it down and clean it.
Okay.
Okay.
It'll run beyond that. If you can't get to it, it'll run beyond that. But it's just an indication
Yeah.
of
It
when you
needs
have
to be
time, it's
done.
time to get this thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw you can turn that though.
Yeah, this.
Yeah.
So that is for a reason too. So as these cartridges wear out
Mhm.
after 3-4 years, your normal operating temperature is going to raise a little bit. It's
Okay.
going to raise a little bit. It's going
Okay.
to raise a little bit. So every time you clean it, start the pool, let it run for about an hour, come back out with everything on, and find out what your operating
Okay.
PSI is there. Then reset this, and then you got your extra 10 PSI to get to your dirty level.
Okay.
That's why it's like this. Normally we start at around between 10 and 12.
Okay.
If you're at 20 PSI on your normal,
Mhm.
replace your cartridges.
Okay.
They're also not that expensive, so if you're not a, I want to do it right now guy,
Yeah.
just buy another set.
Okay.
So when you tear this thing down,
They just had the cartridges.
pull the old ones out,
Okay.
put the new ones in, put it all back together and clean those when you feel like it.
Okay.
Other than that, reverse removal procedure, make sure that O-ring's in, put this back on, make sure it's snug. Like I said, it's only going to fit one way.
Yeah.
And then this belt is going to clamp it together. Same here. Some people take like those silver Sharpies and just mark the contact points. Yours is pretty easy. These are
Yeah.
all different. They line up different.
Yeah.
But yours is just touch the front.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Did you say how many times the cartridges have to be replaced? I'm sure you did.
Yeah, once every 5 years or so.
Okay.
This is more indication. Completely depending on what's happening inside the pool.
Yeah.
So if you guys use a lot of baby oil, sunblock, things like that, it binds to the filter. So as it's processing through the pool, it gets stuck to the filter just like it would anything. It's oil based, so it starts wearing them down.
Okay.
If you guys don't wear a lot of that, these will last longer.
Okay.
So just depending completely on what's happening in the pool.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's it for that thing.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Not about that.
Okay.
I just noticed that of flower pots.
I don't know why it's there, but it's just been there.
It's on the other side. In the back.
Oh, interesting. All right.
I don't know. This is your booster pump.
Okay.
Booster pump is for your cleaner.
Okay.
This cannot run unless the pool is on because it is a booster pump. It's not a standalone pump. It doesn't have its own suction.
Okay.
It's literally pulling suction from the return line.
Okay.
So where that is sending pressure back to the pool, this is using that pressure, boosting it, and sending it to the cleaner.
Okay.
So this is actually off your pool feed,
Okay.
and this is feeding back to your cleaner in the pool.
Okay.
The only thing you need to do with this is just understand that if this is running, that has to be running.
Okay.
You'll just burn this thing up because it'll run.
Okay.
I mean, it'll come on.
Yeah.
But it uses the water to cool itself down. So
Okay.
you'll overheat the motor and
Okay.
it'll just die.
Okay.
They're $400, which ain't crazy expensive, but
It's expensive enough.
crazy
not wanna-
expensive to replace for no reason.
Right.
These are just manual valves. You can shut off the return. These are bubblers to your tanning ledge.
Okay.
So if you just don't want those running like you got a baby up there and like splashing around in small amounts of water, pull this out and it'll release these teeth and you can go past that bypass. So the same as on here where it shows off. All these handles are the same. These are up so it doesn't block any flow.
Okay.
This one is down so it would only block the flow to the bubblers.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Only time you really need to do that is like if you have a baby on there and you don't want it splashing in their face.
Yeah.
Other than that, that can pretty much stay in that position. Okay, on to this one. This is your Fusion 2, so where your chlorine tabs go.
Okay.
As you chlorinate your pool,
Okay.
they sit down inside this canister.
Okay.
3-inch tablets, regular chlorinating tablets.
Okay.
You don't need the ones with detergent. Some people prefer them.
Okay.
They make a lot with detergent. I would suggest don't do that.
Okay.
If you can find straight chlorine pucks, the system isn't designed to have detergents. Like they're supposed to be good, but in reality, water and chlorine is fine.
Okay.
So just to not cause any undue crap in your system, don't put bubbles where bubbles don't need to be, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Other than that, as far as the amount, I'll start 3 or 4.
Okay.
And just see how long it goes. So starting a pool and getting the chemistry right and dealing with all this is literally, it's just a chemistry test. You're gonna have to
see how many
right. So I would start maybe 4.
Okay.
This is where you adjust the amount of water flow going into it.
Okay.
So this is how it produces a breakdown. So as it sends water into the chlorine starts to break down and granulate and send it into the pool.
Okay.
So this is how you adjust the water flow going in. 6 being wide open, I'm trying to produce as much chlorine as possible.
Okay.
1 being only a little bit.
Okay.
Start at 3. I'd put 4 pucks, start at 3 and let it run for 48 hours. Check your chlorine levels.
Okay.
If they're high, turn it down. If they're low, turn it up.
Okay.
Right?
Do you guys provide us with something to check the chlorine levels, or what do we get?
Yes, I brought you a little test kit.
Okay.
Okay.
By no means do you want to use that thing. You can, and I would make the kids do that.
Okay.
They have test strips
Okay.
where you go, hold it for 15 seconds and lay it across a bottle and it tells you exactly what you need.
Okay.
Those are the old school, dip the vial in the water, 3 drops of this, 5 drops of this, shake it up, hold it up to the light, check color. It's pain.
Okay.
Make the kids do it.
Okay.
It's fun for them anyway. I'll tighten all this up. I had to install these earlier. I gotta go get some zip ties, but I'll zip tie all this stuff kind of to the plumbing the way the rest of the stuff is like that.
Okay.
So don't worry about that. I'll take care of all that.
Okay.
This is your Fusion 2 cell. These last a couple of years.
Okay.
This literally is just helping break down bacteria and other stuff that's building in the pool. That's
Okay.
why these systems are so nice. They help knock down the amount of chlorine you need and then knock down the bacteria that's in the pool.
Nice.
What are those running to replace?
A couple $100. I think they're like $179 or something like that.
Okay.
It's also as simple as that.
Are these like accessible on Amazon, or should we just go to the
So,
pool company?
almost everything you can get for your pool is 100% available on Amazon.
Okay.
It's probably cheaper on Amazon.
Okay.
I tell people not to use Leslie's. Leslie's is good for one thing. and that's water chemistry. So if
Okay.
you get like a water bottle, fill it up with your pool water, and you take it to them and say, I have a new pool. What do I need to do? They'll do a complete breakdown, tell you what's high, what's low, and here's exactly what you need to put in.
Okay.
They will try to sell you everything under the roof of that store
Okay.
to make your pool perfect.
Okay.
Get the information you need and get the hell out, because
Okay.
they're overcharging you for everything.
All right.
Use them for information. Don't
Okay.
use them for their products.
All right. Good to
It's
know.
Real thing.
Yeah.
Everything they tell you is not true. Those are kids that learn to work on pools in a store.
Okay. Not
And they only know
in a pool.
information that was given to them when they went to work at a store. They don't have experience in the field.
Okay.
Tell you that for a reason.
Yes.
It's the first time you go, they're going to try to sell you everything.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, oh, they sound like they know what they're talking about. And then pull up.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Use them for water chemistry
Yeah.
and get out.
Right.
Outside of that, this is the same deal as over there. The only difference is it's the other side. So that is
Okay.
suction to the pool.
Yeah.
This is returning clean water
Okay.
back to the pool.
Okay.
This is your spa side. So we're in pool mode. That's all that means.
Okay.
As far as this, same deal as that one. You can rotate it manually down here,
Okay.
but completely not necessary.
Okay.
You'll control all that via the app.
Okay.
Air blower doesn't do anything until you tell it to.
Okay.
No maintenance necessary. Nothing.
Okay.
It's not glued on. You can take it off.
Okay.
Not that you would ever need to, but it just seats on there.
Okay.
Okay, so heater. This is a little more in depth. So when I was telling you earlier that you can heat the pool,
Yes.
that is because if you look coming through the filter where all the water goes, no matter what you're doing, pool mode, spa mode, comes straight into the heater manifold before it's chlorinated.
Okay.
Which also means if you're in pool mode and you accidentally hit heat, you're accidentally heating your pool.
All right.
And it's not our fault.
All right.
It is your fault. These have freeze plugs on them also.
Okay.
They're in the back.
Okay.
They're right here.
Okay.
I'm telling you this because everybody's manifold broke.
Okay.
Not the heater, just the plastic
manifold.
manifold. And you
Okay.
can't replace it.
Okay. Oh,
I mean, you
okay.
can, but they're not making it. They're still making just these manifolds to replace the ones that broke in February.
Yeah.
And this is
Makes
normally like an $80 part that is like $450 right now.
Sure it is.
Take the freeze plug out.
Yeah. Okay.
There's only one. It's down here.
Okay.
And it does the same thing.
Okay.
If you don't like that, these are compression fittings. And they rotate off. Just
Okay.
disassemble the thing.
Okay.
Same here.
Okay.
Like anything with these, you can save that equipment just by disconnecting it.
And that's anytime it freezes. Like period.
Well, yeah. I mean, this has freeze protect on it.
Okay.
This has freeze protect on it.
Okay.
That one doesn't.
Okay.
Freeze protect means the air sensor. So this is a temperature sensor. That's where you get on your app. It'll tell you water temperature
Okay.
or pool temperature.
Okay.
It's actually the temperature of the water that's coming through the pipe.
Okay.
So it's
not necessarily the
close.
Close.
It's not exactly.
Right.
This one is judging your outside air temperature.
Okay.
So when this thing recognizes that it's 34 degrees,
Mhm.
that kicks on whether you're in program or not. So
Okay.
it starts circulating.
Okay.
So, well, moving water doesn't freeze.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff doesn't have moving water in it, like your water feature pump and stuff. So
Okay.
in those situations, just shut the thing down or
Okay.
turn it on and make it run.
Okay.
So some of this stuff, yeah, will protect itself.
Okay.
This does not.
Okay.
This is necessary at all times.
Okay.
One of those buttons has to be highlighted. Outside of that, you really don't have to do anything over here.
Okay.
I'll adjust this to where you can control it from your phone.
Okay.
But if you're controlling it from your phone and it's not doing anything, you see how those buttons are highlighted?
Mhm.
It means that button isn't highlighted. Make
Me-
sense? So if you're turning it on and it ain't coming on, you need to come over here and push spa.
Got you.
Now turn it on.
Okay.
There is a back door menu, so this really does nothing.
Oh, okay.
You have to hold them all down.
Oh, awesome.
So
Okay.
then you get into here,
Okay.
and it's just the back door menu.
Okay.
We don't have to mess anything with that.
Okay.
We'll do that later once the gas is hooked up, so
Okay.
we're not running it for no reason. And then the same deal to get out.
Okay.
Outside of that, you really don't have to do anything with that. Just unplug it if it's going to freeze.
Okay.
I have to go get a manifold for this. This is another one of those things you don't have to do anything to. If the pump is running, this is working.
Okay.
So it uses the vacuum, like when that pump impeller starts running
Right.
and it feels the vacuum, this thing kicks on. I just have to go get your air hose. They lost your air hose, and I got to get a manifold.
Okay.
I found some of your stuff that got kind of spread all over the yard. This wasn't one of them.
Okay.
Other than that, there's nothing you need to do with this. It
Okay.
just operates. I'll have that operating before the end of the week.
Okay.
Okay, so just so you know, low voltage transformer. That's what your lights are running off of.
Okay.
Because it's all low voltage lighting.
Okay.
You don't have to do anything with this either. These are your switches. You can kill stuff to you can kill the power to your system right here.
Okay.
So things don't run. Like
Okay.
if you guys are going out of town, you don't want the kids messing with stuff, you just shut the power off.
Okay.
And as long as you don't tell them that's there, they won't know how to turn the pool on.
All right.
GFCI, which powers everything. So
Okay.
if nothing's coming on, look for the red light.
Okay.
Same as if you trip a breaker outside and you got to go in your garage and look
Yeah.
for the one. It's the same
Reset.
thing.
Okay.
Antenna. This is where it's reading your Wi-Fi.
Okay.
No maintenance necessary.
Okay.
It does have 3 indications, so if there's no app or it's not communicating,
Yeah.
just see if those are lit up.
Okay.
Outside
Okay.
of that, that's really the only thing that can do for you.
Okay.
Okay, this is the brain of the whole system.
All right.
Electrical breakdown of what is behind here.
Okay.
Right? Generally, you don't really need this. This is how the relays work, how to wire the relays in, and what each nodule does for each button.
Okay.
In reality, you don't need this. This is more for what you're going to do on a regular operating basis.
Okay.
So this is your primary button. So
Okay.
auto means anything that has been programmed through the app or
Okay.
what the system. So if it's supposed to come on at 7 a.m. and shut off at 6 a.m.,
Mhm.
that's what it's going to do when it's in auto.
Okay.
Service is a permanent shutdown, which allows me to like send power to each unit for
Okay.
testing or cleaning.
Okay.
Service is a permanent shutdown, which
Okay.
means it's not coming back on until you come over here and hit a button and tell it to come back on.
Okay.
Timeout is more for homeowners. So it's like a service, but with a 3-hour window. So
Okay.
if you're out here doing all your maintenance and school calls, you got to go to school and you forget to turn the pool pump back on. If you're in timeout after a 3-hour window, this thing's going to go back into auto,
Okay.
right? Filter pump is exactly that. That's the filtration pump. I've already
Okay.
labeled these, so it makes it a lot easier. Cleaner is cleaner.
Okay.
Air blower, air blower.
Okay.
Shear descent is your water feature pump.
Okay.
And then your pool light is your pool light.
There.
You do have an extra relay in, so if you guys wanted to do low voltage like landscape lighting, you can run that off your control box here.
Awesome.
Also, you could just wire it into that.
Okay.
And every time you turn your pool lights on, your landscape lighting will come on.
Okay.
You don't have to though. So you can have a secondary button. I left a relay in there. Get an electrician that knows what they're doing. They'll
Yeah.
just wire it into the relay, and
Okay.
then when you hit that button,
It'll-
the landscape lights come on.
Nice.
He can also program it onto your phone.
Okay. Nice.
Heater and solar don't actually light up.
Okay.
These, the only thing this is the actuators that we were talking about.
Okay.
So the automatic function from pool to spa. So this is just telling you what position it is in.
Okay.
So right now you're in pool mode. For instance, we can go to spa mode, and they will rotate into the spa position.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's much easier than. turning
The
it
other
myself.
function that this does, and the reason I don't want to set your spa to overflow,
Yeah.
where there's constantly water on the tile,
Right.
is because it alleviates these last two options.
Okay.
Spa drain and spa fill. So spa drain, especially with a dog, is something that comes in handy because you
Okay.
can literally use the pump to take all the water out of the spa to clean that bench.
Oh, nice.
It puts the water in the pool.
Okay. Nice.
When you're done, put it in spa fill, turn the pump on.
Okay.
It'll take all that water and put it right back in the
Very
spa
nice.
when you're done cleaning.
Okay.
That's why I just left it.
Yeah.
Especially right now. If you
Yeah.
decide after
Yeah.
that spa is clean, you want me to have one overflow,
Right.
I'll come adjust it.
Okay.
Any questions on any of that?
And for me,
I'll watch your videos.
There's videos, yeah. That's it for that part.
okay.
This is not really a 9-volt battery.
Okay.
That's an old thing.
Okay.
What the guy that taught me how to do pools
Right.
is that's where you stick your joint.
Okay.
When she's getting on your nerves.
Right.
Because it serves no other purpose. I was
Right.
like, really? Is that really what you tell people? It's the old memory battery. So the
Okay.
programming, if you lose power or whatever,
Yeah.
there's still a memory battery.
Okay.
They just switch to a lithium 2032, like a
That'll
little
work.
watch battery. If you take these screws out, there's 2 more screws that hold this panel in. When you drop that panel down, it's plain as day. It's got a 2032 battery.
Okay.
So when you're on your app, if it says low battery and it ain't your phone,
Yeah.
it's telling you that this
That
battery is
lithium
low.
battery needs to be changed.
It's a 2032 and it only burns out like every 5 or 6 years.
Okay. Nice.
So it's not like a regular maintenance tool.
No. That'll be.
These stay here in case you drop these.
Okay.
That's all it's for.
That'll work.
We don't put this one in. There's a screw back here to lock this door on too.
Okay.
We don't put it in because it makes it easier for us to go.
Yeah. Okay.
But that does lock it in place so it doesn't come off and on.
Okay. Good to know.
All right, that's it on that. There'll be a big T valve with a shut off on that.
Okay.
I have a side question. This,
I'll get you another downspout.
so
Just a little 90.
we just had a French drain put in. Should they?
Tie that in.
Mm-hmm.
What are y'all doing over here? Rocks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then it wouldn't really matter.
It wouldn't. We don't have to tie it in at all.
No, you don't have to. I mean, you can even get a downspout and just put it under the rocks, the ones that connect to that, and then they get flat,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then put that under the rocks. So your French drain's here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it dumps on this side,
Okay.
it's still the water's gonna penetrate and go down into the French drain and still go out.
Yeah.
Or you could tie it in, but it's gonna be a big mess to tie it in because they're gonna have to open it back up and do all that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of dependent. How much water comes out of that when it rains? A
Uh,
fair amount.
I don't know.
I've never. Yeah. It's a
I
problem.
would
Sure.
look at that. I would look at that first.
Yeah.
This whole side has always been,
Yeah.
Drenched and
Drenched?
wet.
Yeah.
which
I
is,
remember.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
what
we
they
kept
did,
failing inspection because you can't get the damn water out of the trench.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. So we ran into the
they
the.
ran pipe behind there
Yeah.
to help catch that, and they
I
did
did-
the solid
I did
pipe.
find that. I found that when I was digging. Yeah. I was like, oh, look at this. They got all kinds of irrigation pipe and everything.
Yeah. We don't want water to be an issue.
Okay, so another thing you guys are going to have to keep up with because your neighbors are really hooking you up with